So here's a Centurion match on Fisherman's Village, and this is a noteworthy match for two reasons. First of all, it just kind of shows the Centurion's great ability for abusing terrain. Second of all, the green tank on the enemy team, their Centurion, spends more time bitching than myself and Hardest put together. It was pretty entertaining. But Fisherman's Village is one of my sort of maps I quite enjoy playing in my medium tanks, because I can really work the hill in the middle. So I spend a lot of time positioning myself around, finding areas I can get a good hold down spot. In my my smaller mediums, say my Soviet mediums or my bat chat, I tend to zip around and pop up from folds in the terrain, spot people, and then pop back down. You can see, just looking at the screen, you can see the very, very nice hills we got here. So our T-54 spots their T-54. I don't manage to get my aim on him in time for the snapshot there, but he comes back over. Unfortunately, he's not stupid enough to crest. I get lit by an IS-3, so I back off a bit. I'm looking for a shot here. Hardest has come up to middle to help out, so green tank gets lit in his scent. Hardest slaps him probably through the roof of the turret, that very angled part above the gun mantlet, and he immediately begins bitching. Now, that part of the armor is very well sloped, but it's very thin, so if it gets hit by a 120mm gun, it's not going to stop it. It's just going to overmatch and go straight through. So you can see already he's taken one hit, and he's bitching up a storm. Normally it'll take me 2 or 3 kind of shitty hits before I start to get agitated. And of course, any of you who watch Hardest stream will know that there are 2 things Hardest is very, very good at. One is getting antagonized, the other one is antagonizing other people. And in this case, it's just going to be a beautiful shouting match between himself and Green Tank. So I decide I'm going to work my way to the west flank, just to see if I can get any shots from here. Haven't been able to put in any damage yet, but I also haven't taken any, aside from the 2 hit points I lost from our KV-5 knocking into me in spawn. The enemy have kind of taken town, but we have so many tanks up in middle with all their hit points still, we can kind of collapse in on them later. So I find the 54, and he has his side turret to me, but he's making it difficult. Unfortunately, I don't get the pen. I think I hit him at just too much of an angle, bounced off the roof. But that's okay, we'll find other shots. Don't have shots on any of those, so I drop back a lot. You can see Hardest and Green Tank just non-stop in chat. So I start working my way back towards the middle since I can't get shots, and then I decide I don't want to miss out on this fun, I'll join in. Where's the fucking auto bounce from over-angling surfaces, he asked. Well, I'm fairly convinced that the game calculates overmatch before it calculates auto bounce. That or auto bounce is a lot less than most people think, like the angle I mean is a lot smaller. It could be either case. All I know is I have the same problem. A lot of times I'll be sure I'm auto bounce and it just goes clean through. But he should know better. If he's getting repeatedly penned, he should be moving away from the person who is repeatedly penning him. It's common sense. So I'm just taking opportunistic shots through middle here. Kind of resigned myself to not being able to do all the damage in this match, so I'll just take what I can get. The enemy team are positioning in rather inconvenient ways. IS-3 gives me a beautiful shot, so I'll take it. I can see just the edge of his muzzle pointing away from me, so I know he wasn't looking at me. So I just sat there and waited for my shot to go. And then I start looking for a shot on Green Tank. who is still in basically the same position despite his constant complaints of being panned through his turret. Now, I don't know about you, but if that happens to me, I just fuck off to the other side of the map. You know, if you're not having luck in one spot, go somewhere else. It's pretty simple stuff. He's disappeared, so I'm looking for shots down on these two guys, but there's too many houses in the way. Hardest does get a shot in, so I figure, oh, I should be able to get one, but nope. Hardest is pushed up a bit further than me, so he can shoot past that house. Our other Centurion appears to have found a bot, RIS-3, either a bot or probably like a 3-year-old child. So, Hardest still has full health, I still have mostly full health, and then I find green tank, so I start working on him. I get hit by AP from him, 20 pounder, and then watch this. Real pro, sling all APCR. He's playing the same tank as me. He should know that this tank's top gun fires APCR by default. If he's playing the tank, there's no reason he wouldn't know. Now, how this guy has purple stats, I'm not sure, but Jesus Christ. This happens every game I see him. He spends more time bitching than actually playing, and then he wonders why he does poorly. So, our team does have the advantage, but the game's not won yet, and I'm not done inciting problems in chat. But I begin to work my way west again to try and get some shots in. Our TDs managed to win through town and are pushing around towards the enemy cab, which should nicely distract the guys on 1 and 2 lines. The T-54 is one-shottable, the TDs presumably all have a lot of health. I get spotted by the T-30, who is trying to shoot east into Hardest, actually, I think. So I lose sight of him for a moment, try and respot, but he's in camouflage or he's turret down or something. I can't find him, so I back off. You can see the way I'm working the terrain here. I'm moving in such a way as to keep my turret beneath the crest of the hill. I'm following the sort of low points in the ground so I can keep my tank as concealed as possible. Every now and then I'll do something like that and pop over a crest to see if I can get a shot on somebody, but for the most part, if you watch my medium tank play in particular, but I do it even with heavies and TDs, I will try and seek out low ground and follow it. This is probably the reason I like the Wheezy 120 so much. Even though it has no gun depression, I can actually find the terrain I need for it. A lot of people can't. It's not really any sort of magical skill, it's just learning how to recognize terrain. It's pretty simple. Like you can see, in basically just right at center of my screen right now, there's a bowl there that's completely hull down from the T-30. If I was to drive to my left, he wouldn't even be able to see me. But he's dead anyway, and he wasn't engaging me, so I just drive along the road. If I get spotted, I can dive either right or left into low ground, find some cover. But at this point, I'm happy to just roll straight into the enemy. I'm confident that with this many hit points I can tank whatever they can throw at me. So not really an outstanding damage game, but it was a decent example of how to work the hill on this map, and also a decent example of how to piss off other players, which is my other favourite thing besides playing the Centurion. The worst shot. I blame my internet for that one. But doesn't matter because I managed to get in another shot. And then the 704 comes up to finish the job. So nice easy 3k damage game. Lost a bit of health there at the end, but for most of the game actually I was pretty much intact. Which goes to show, you know, if you know how to work the terrain and you have a tank with decent turret armor, you can really make your survivability work for you. You know, the Centurion doesn't have much for hull armor, but you get that thing hull down with its turret being the only thing exposed and you're going to have a good time.